Hello, I'm Jody Wolf, and you're watching Expoz, October 6, 2018, 11:06 p.m. Birmingham. And topic, well, follow up on what to do if martial law is declared in our country. Well, just to bring you up to date, let me tell you about the EMS, EAS, the emergency alert that you got on your iPhone, your cell phone, your smartphone the other day. You'll get that again, but this time it'll direct you. Every radio station, if you're listening to Sirius radio, or if you're listening to a AM or FM radio station, does not matter. If you're at home watching TV, doesn't matter if you're watching the 5. There'll be a single voice break in to this station. Your iPhone, a single voice. Every voice will be one man. They know we've had this for umpteen years on our LCC, on our TV and radio stations. We've heard that many times. This may be the only time in your life that you'll ever see it or hear it. And above all that, it may declare, it just might declare a martial law in our nation, in our country. But it will be for a reason. And they'll tell you up front, don't get excited, don't worry about it, and they won't even mention to you sealed indictments. You won't hear that word until after they have started taking place, and then thousands of people will pick up on it, and then they will start telling it. But I would dare say, and it's a possibility, that it might not be allowed to be heard on YouTube or any other part of the computer the way it is now. And I'm saying that because the FEMA and the federal government, which is the two parties that'll be heading up the martial law, they will confiscate every means of communications. Google, Facebook, YouTube, you're going to be given up, and these people will take over for a time. And there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. You can't just say, well, I don't like them, I'm going to just take them off my page. It's not going to happen. They're going to be there. And they're going to be there until they are done. And that may take months. So I want to get everyone prepared that it could happen. And I'm going to tell you what I think will be the trigger. There'll be a twofold trigger. One, when you have a massive loss in November of the elections, when so many people were driven away from the Democratic Party and decided to move over to the conservative side, and then instead of voting Democrat, they'll vote Republican just because of what the Democrats have done in the last several years. All these things they have staged and lied about, and they're still doing it. Now they're getting hostile. They're really getting out there where they're hurting people and getting in people's face. They did this to Cruz the other night when he and his wife went out to eat. Guys, that the police should have not only come, but arrested every single person there. Well, when martial law is called, and that happens, everyone there will be arrested. And they'll not be taken to your local jailhouse. They'll be taken to a federal lockup. So think about that and remember that. It's going to be martial law. It's not going to be Mountain Brook's law or Chattanooga, Tennessee's law. It won't be Lexington, Kentucky law or LA law. It's going to be martial law. They'll be the ones in charge. They'll be above all police departments, although the police departments will be working hand in hand with them. So if it happens, look for it to happen shortly after the November elections. I really think that these people who are out here that's hurting people today, and the 6 that you have heard of, Trump's son had a large meeting of 80 guests in Montana. He was refused by that motel because the motel found out he was a Trump. Well, they come to regret that. So they did something that they should not have done. Just like the guy that said, I am not going to bake a cake for these gays. Well, you can bake the cake. I mean, you don't have to love them. You know, you just hate what they do. But bake the cake, you know, it's kind of like that. But there are people going against the grain in a really bad way. They're going out there and hurting Ted Cruz when he and his family out there trying to eat. They had to get out the front and they're screaming at him. I mean, so close, they're spitting in their face. They should have been locked up. And then the speaker, you know, so these things are going to increase and intensify 100-fold. At least that when they see the election results in November. It's going to be, well, let me tell you this. When they found O.J. not guilty, if they'd found him guilty, and believe me, they looked at this and they made their vote and what they were going to do with him based on the fact of what can happen in East L.A. if he is found guilty. They let that man go and gave East L.A. a gift. You're not going to get burned tonight. Ferguson, Missouri. You can see thousands of towns just like Ferguson, Missouri was when it started burning, when that black guy attacked a white cop, and there's video of it and everything, and he got shot and killed, but they still burned several businesses and just ruined people's lives. Expect this on a 1,000-fold scale when all the election results are in, and then it goes out. By the way, we have 55,000 sealed indictments that we're going to have to fulfill. Then here comes martial law. So that kind of gives you a hint in a timeline that LCC, in connection with the EAS, it's done. They're going to let the cat out of the bag, and here we go. It's going to be a ride for all of us. But for most of you that are innocent, law-abiding, you go to work every day, you come home, you feed your family, you eat, you're okay. Don't worry about it. You that go down and stand on the street corner of 8 of your buddies and deciding who's going to rob who next, if you're on that street corner after you're told to be gone, then you're going to be locked up and you're not going to be in the local jail. Take this seriously, because it's going to be serious, but it will clean up it'll clean up our towns, all of our towns, and it'll make this country a much better country because of it. Look, they're trying to overthrow a seated president, and if that is not an excuse, what were they doing before he was seated? When Obama was here, when Clinton was here, when Bushes were here, the shadow government was still here, and they were working even at that time. So the shadow government, along with the swamp, along with the liberal left, they have to leave. They have to shut up. And it's coming sooner or later, guys. And I'm just telling you, be prepared for it. But it'll be a very short-lived martial law. And it'll be a soft martial law to you and I. Jody Wolf Expoz.